Hey everyone, and welcome back to Thoughts from Bookworm. I'm Abigail Grace. Today we are talking about the last book in the Lunar Chronicles, which is Winter. Winter, I'm not gonna lie, is my least favorite book. It is very long. The edition that I have is very thick. It's 800 pages. It's just a very thick, beefy book. And in my opinion, there were several chapters in it and several back-to-back chapters that were not needed, that felt very excessive, that low-key gave me borderline secondhand embarrassment just at the cringe of them. This was not my favorite book. I'm not a fan of Winter, the character. I felt she was very overdone. One of my biggest beefs with the whole Winter being crazy thing is it was so unnecessary. She literally put herself and, more importantly, Jason through so much needless stress and worry when she didn't need to. And I will tell you why. We know from Scarlet, when Cinder glamored her cyborg hand to look human, that you can glamour yourself. You can't do it if you're looking in a mirror, but you can look at your hands and glamour yourself. Winter didn't want to glamour other people. She knew the side effects of that, but she did it anyway because to her it was important not to glamour people, which I fully respect and understand and agree with and whatever. But knowing the side effects, knowing Levana, knowing the position that Jason is in, literally all Winter had to do to avoid so much of that whole drama situation is go in her room, lock the door, look at her hands, and glamour her fingernails to be purple or orange or something. She didn't have to manipulate anybody else, because Scarlet even mentions in Winter, oh, well, just glamour me to make my hair look different so that you're not crazy. Which is no, I'm not glamoring anybody. I'm not glamoring anybody. Okay, fine. Don't glamour anybody. Glamour yourself. Glamour yourself so that you keep your thoughts about you, so that your brain doesn't deteriorate, so that your best friend, who's a guard there at the palace and literally helpless to do anything to help you, doesn't have to be put in these positions of not being able to help you, wanting to help you, trying to protect you from Levana, trying to keep Levana away from Winter. That was seriously my biggest issue with Winter being crazy, is that it was just so unnecessary. And it wasn't even something oh, well, the more you glamour, the more addicting it becomes. That's never addressed. That might be the case, that might have been the author's reasoning or whatever, but we are never told that, because Cinder glamours people throughout the entire series, and it's never been an issue of, oh my gosh, it's starting to become addicting. She recognizes how strong it is and how the danger to become like Levana is there, but it's never an addicting thing. So why didn't Winter just go into her room by herself and glamour her freaking fingernails?
What's reading?
To have fingernail polish on, and then she would stay sane. I don't know. That was my biggest issue with this whole Winter being crazy thing. And then, like I said, I'm just not a fan of Winter herself. She just felt very I have such a hard time with this word, infantilized. She felt very juvenile. She was supposed to be 17. She's older than Cinder. And again, I know she's crazy, but she felt more immature than Crest did. And again, I know she's crazy, but I keep going back to she didn't have to be crazy. I get myself going in the circular rant where it's just more frustrating than it's worth. So that's my reasoning. I will say though, and I was so proud of myself, I know that these are fairy tale retellings. There's fairy tale inspirations from them, but aside from the endings, knowing, okay, Cinder was going to go to the ball, Crest was going to leave her satellite, Scarlet and Wolf end up together, those things obviously are somewhat predictable just because it's a fairy tale thing, kind of they're going to get their happy endings. Besides that, I hadn't predicted anything. I didn't predict that Thorn was going to lose his eyesight, that Scarlet was going to get taken, that her grandmother was going to get eaten. Definitely did not call that one, but I called that Jason was going to be the huntsman. As soon as that whole scene started, I was I knew it. I literally knew it from the beginning that Jason was going to double as the huntsman and the prince. And I was so proud of myself that I called it. But I 100% called that Jason was going to be the huntsman. And it did not disappoint. That whole scene was beautiful. I loved that scene so much. My dislike for Winter aside, I love Jason. I loved that whole dynamic. I have the Fairy Loot special editions for the Lunar Chronicles, and like the inside cover art for that scene is so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I love it so much. We're not really given insight into Jason's mind. So it's kind of like, wait a second, like, is he actually going to kill her? Because it kind of like, that was the impression I was getting for like a hot second. I was like, wait a second, this isn't, you're not supposed to actually kill him, my dude. He killed the wolf instead. He got Scarlet's help. Like, he was really smart at thinking fast, thinking on his feet, getting Winter and Scarlet out of there, keeping, the blood on himself, disposing of the wolf, lying to Levana. Like, it was brilliant. Good thing. That's why I love Jason, because he's a smart boy. Scarlet and Wolf reuniting was also one of the most like satisfying moments, because I love Wolf so much, and just him finally getting his alpha back was so perfect. I like that all of the reservations on Scarlet's part is pretty much gone, at least from what I can tell, is gone. She's fully admits that she's in love with him. They're each other's alpha. I so loved the way that one scene was done when they were like in the town square and Wolf was taken again, Cinder was taken, and Scarlet is like up on top of the roof, or maybe she's in a window or something, and she's like, oh, I can get closer. But then she sees Wolf, like Wolf sees her, and she kind of realizes, okay, wait a second, Wolf just lost his mom. If he loses me too, that will like devastate him. Which I thought was really cool, because those types of like reasonings don't happen too much in books. It makes sense, because it's like, okay, wait a second, this guy that I love just lost his mom, and if he loses me too, like that if he loses me again, that will like not be good for him. And so Scarlet has this moment where she like pulls back and she resists the urge to just like jump in and shoot first and ask questions later. My lips are so dry. Oh my gosh. I like that Cress kind of comes out of her shell a little bit, that she's able to like run across this field of like flying bullets and override the code. I like that we see Thorn's just devastation when he thinks that she's dead, that they lose her. I love Cress and Thorn when they reunite, and then Thorn punches Jason and then immediately hugs him. Like, Thorn and Jason's like bromance, like bro, I really like, because they're funny. They're like polar opposites, but they're just so, they have good like friend / brother chemistry. I was surprised that Kai actually married Levana, because usually in those types of settings or situations, I feel like it's very common for like everyone to burst in at the last minute. Oh, the wedding's off. Oh, we're gonna stop it, kind of like they did in Crest, but they actually get married, which was a little weird. There were a couple chapters either toward the middle or like just past the midway point, and I want to say it was 3 or 4 chapters back to back, and it was when Scarlet and Winter were like recruiting for Cinder's army, and they go down into like the sub-levels of Luna looking for the rest or the other like wolf packs to recruit them. Those 3 chapters I literally skip when I read Winter. I cannot read those chapters. I'm sorry. They are so cringe. They are so embarrassing. To see Scarlet, this human, 5 foot, I think she's like 5'7", 5'6", girl going toe to toe with these wolf mutant hybrid creatures who are lunar. Like, it's just stupid on her part to do that. I don't really know what she was thinking, being so aggressive. And then when Winter started howling, it was just, I'm sorry, like, no offense to the author, you are a great writer, but those 3 chapters would, like, if those chapters had been left out of the book, I would have liked that book so much better. Seriously, those 3 chapters haunt me. I cannot get out of my head that those 3 chapters made it in this book. I'm sorry, I know that's harsh, but those 3 chapters were terrible. Like, they were so bad. They were so bad. Eco has the blueprints for Cinder's device, that Cinder's device comes back up. It's not just kind of like swept under the rug. And as much as I don't like Adri and Pearl, it made sense in like a realistic way for the 2 of them to be given the patent back, because Adri's husband invented it. I don't like that they now have, millions of dollars because they're mean and don't deserve that. But I like that it comes back around, that the device that kind of started this whole thing comes back around and isn't just ignored because, oh, it was destroyed on Cinder. Oh, Garen is dead. Therefore, we're done. I like that Winter volunteers to be the first subject. I do wish that she and Jason had another kiss or another like conversation about like their feelings or whatever, because every other couple got that. Every other couple kind of got a resolution and like, okay, we love each other. Not that nobody ever says like, let's date, but it's obvious. Like, okay, Cinder and Kai are in love. Wolf and Scarlet are definitely in love. Cress and Thorn definitely in love. We know that Winter and Jason love each other, but I wish that they would have gotten a sense of closure, I guess, which is open-ended, you know, that they're obviously on good terms. They do love each other. They have a history of friendship. You know, Luna's back in Cinder's hands where it belongs, so there's hope for it, but I wish that we would have gotten to see it just a little bit. So that's where we're going to end today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out last week's episode if you missed it. Like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode.